Hey guys, super important, quick video today. I can't think of a better time right now as I'm filming this video. We're in the end of August. Some statistics are coming out on mental health, pretty rough stuff. Alcoholism, suicide rate, anti-anxiety medication, antidepressant medication, illicit drug use, abuse of prescription drugs, all up, average around 400%. This is not good. I do want to give you guys 3 quick tips to increase your happiness, your focus, your productivity, and just overall well-being when it comes to mental health. These, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. This comes from Dan Sullivan. He is the founder and leader of a company called Strategic Coach. I would highly recommend you guys check out any of his stuff. It's very well thought out. It's very unique. It's very impactful. So I just want to, let's talk real quickly about 3 things that you can do starting now, starting today, to increase that happiness, decrease anxiety, decrease depression, increase productivity, and bring up energy. Number 1 is a concept called the gap versus the gain. We all have an ideal of where we want life, of where we want our results. I have an ideal, but we really shouldn't compare our current self or our current progress or results to that ideal. We need to compare it to the gains we've made over a year, over 3 years, over 5 years. This perspective is going to bring you up into proper alignment with how much progress you've actually achieved. We don't want to compare ourselves to other people or other ideals. We want to compare ourselves to where we have been. Happiness in life comes from progress. A very good example of this is if you've ever been deep sea fishing or out on a boat. The ideal you have is like the horizon. You can go towards that horizon for an hour as fast as you can in that boat, but whenever you get to that final point, the horizon is still going to be farther out. You're never going to get there, and that is because as we grow as humans, as we go along in life, our ideals for ourselves change. We don't want to use that as the measuring stick. We want to use where we were a year ago, 3 years ago, and 5 years ago. So use the gain, not the gap in life. Number 2, we have to move from being consumers to being creators in our lives. Consumers are people who criticize, who judge other things, are hypercritical. They just want to take things. That's all they want to do. They want to consume the news. They want to consume experiences, and they don't want to take any role in creating their life or creating the experience that they want to have, or creating their level of health, their level of finances, their level of relationships. They just want to use and consume. I have to be very careful. I know I fall into this, and this is a good tip when you're following into consumer mindset. When you blame, when you complain, or you criticize somebody else. When you blame, you complain, or you criticize somebody else. So like a super consumer, these are people who write a bad Google review about a business. Now I understand the point of that. You may be trying to help other people not have that, but I would have you take some ownership and responsibility for creating that interaction. What we should actually do when we consume things, or we go to utilize things, or we utilize services or things, we need to be a part of the creative process, the collaborative process, because we're the ones who are responsible for creating our health, creating our life, creating our experiences. And when you take that ownership, when you go to the restaurant and not say, I'm just going to consume what they make, I'm going to consume the experience. When you take charge and you take a creative role on how good that experience is going to be, you'd be amazed how much more happiness you have and how much more you get from that experience than if you just went there as a passive consumer. Last tip is we have to change our outlook on time. We are so narrow-minded, short-term minded. We underestimate what we can do in 10 years, and we overestimate what we can do in 1 year's time. So I'm going to repeat that backwards. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year, and we underestimate what we can do in 10 years. We have to change our concept of time. Don't do anything unless you want to do it for the rest of your life. I'm going to eat good for the rest of my life. I'm going to exercise for the rest of my life. I'm going to work on my relationships for the rest of my life. I'm going to practice. I'm going to work for the rest of my life. I'm going to work on my marriage for the rest of my life. I'm going to work on the relationships with my kids for the rest of my life. I'm going to take healthy supplements for the rest of my life. I'm going to learn for the rest of my life. So I'm not going to be concerned about like, how much do I need to learn this year? I want to really look at what's the moonshot? What are the big things I want to learn over the next 10 years? I'm not going to look at how much weight I lose in 1 year. I'm going to look at how can I get my body to look over the next 10 years? How good can I get my marriage to be over the next 10 years? How good can I get my business or my job or my professional life for the next 10 years? Something cool happens. It's a trick you play with your mind when you have that further outlook. They have a lot more happiness, you have a lot more energy, you have a lot more production in life, and you get more fulfilled, and I would say you get better results. So guys, I hope those tips are very helpful. I hope they bring you more happiness. I hope they bring you better mental health, and ultimately more productivity. We need Americans right now that have a bigger vision, that are ready to produce, that are ready to work together, to collaborate in this weird time. Thanks.